Beyond the shadows, exploring malevolent spirits in the dead of night. Scary story. As I sit here, pen in hand, I am filled with both excitement and trepidation. Today, dear viewer, I embark on a journey into the chilling world of the supernatural. Allow me to introduce you to the haunting tale of Samantha Reed. Set in a desolate town in the heart of Tennessee, this true story reached us through whispered tales and dusty archives. The horrors that befell Samantha are as bone-chilling as they are inexplicable. It is said that her encounters with the supernatural sent shivers down even the bravest souls. Join me on this hair-raising expedition as we unravel the mysteries surrounding Samantha's eerie ordeal. Brace yourself, for what you are about to discover will forever change your perception of reality. Background on the true story of Wong Song Sookie. In the quiet town of Eastwood, a chilling tale began to unfold. I had always considered my home to be a haven until one dark and fateful night when everything changed. Little did I know that my life would soon become intertwined with the haunting presence of Wong Song Sookie, a restless spirit from beyond the grave. Wong Song Sookie was said to have been a young woman who met an untimely demise in the late 1800s. Rumors circulated about her tragic past, but the details remained shrouded in mystery. Some believe she was wronged by a lover, while others claim she was cursed by a vengeful spirit. As the days turned into weeks and weeks into months, whispers of Wong Song Sookie began to spread throughout the town. People spoke of strange occurrences and eerie sightings, causing fear to grip the hearts of all who heard the stories. The legend continued to grow, captivating audiences with its bone-chilling details. Why the story continues to captivate audiences. The tale of Wong Song Sookie continues to captivate audiences due to its unnerving and chilling nature. As I recount the events, it becomes apparent that this is not just another fabricated ghost story. The authenticity of the experiences, combined with the eerie setting and terrifying encounters, captivates readers and keeps them on the edge of their seats. Perhaps it is the element of relatability that draws people in. We all have our own fears and anxieties about the supernatural, and hearing a true account makes it all the more haunting. The story also raises questions about the existence of spirits and what happens when we cross paths with them. Moreover, there is a thrill in uncovering what learned human understanding. People are drawn to mysteries that challenge their beliefs and push the boundaries of what they think they know about the world. The story of Wong Song Sookie does exactly that, leaving audiences intrigued and wanting more. As we delve into the details of her encounters, prepare yourself for a journey into the unknown. Setting the scene. As I stepped foot onto the creaky wooden porch of the old Victorian house, a chill ran down my spine. The air was heavy with a sense of foreboding, as if the very atmosphere knew the horrors that lay within. The paint on the weathered walls peeled and cracked, giving the building a haunted appearance that sent shivers down my spine. The surrounding landscape added to the eerie ambiance. Overgrown trees reached out with their twisted branches, casting long shadows that danced in the pale moonlight. It was the perfect setting for something sinister to occur, a place where nightmares could become all too real. Little did I know that I was about to witness firsthand the malevolent presence that lurked within these walls. Decryption of the location and atmosphere of the story. As I stepped foot into the old, dilapidated house on Elm Street, a shiver ran down my spine. The air was heavy with an eerie stillness, and the dimly lit hallways seemed to stretch on forever. The walls were lined with torn wallpaper and cobwebs, hung from every corner, adding to the sense of decay and abandonment. The musty smell of dampness filled the air, making it difficult to breathe. Shadows danced ominously on the worn-out wooden floors, creating an unsettling atmosphere that sent chills down my spine. It was clear that this house had a dark history, one that would soon unravel before my eyes. The impact of the setting on the events that unfold. As I entered the old, dilapidated house on the outskirts of town, a chill ran down my spine. The atmosphere was thick with an eerie silence, broken only by the soft creaking of floorboards beneath my feet. The faded wallpaper and dusty furniture added to the sense of abandonment that permeated the space. Little did I know, this haunting setting would play a crucial role in the events that unfolded. It seemed as though the very walls were whispering secrets, carrying the weight of countless tales untold. Shadows danced ominously in corners, evoking a sense of unease that was almost palpable. The setting provided the perfect backdrop for the ghostly encounters that awaited me. The isolation and desolation of this place amplified every spine-tingling moment and made each encounter with the supernatural feel all too real. It became clear to me that the ghosts within these walls had become one with their surroundings, making their presence felt in every nook and cranny. In this setting, even the most mundane objects took on a sinister quality. The flickering light bulbs cast grotesque shadows on decaying furniture, heightening the sense of foreboding. Every creaking step and rustling sound seemed to echo through the empty halls, magnifying my dread as I navigated this haunted house. It was within these chilling surroundings that Wong Song-sooki's nightmare began, setting off a series of terrifying events that would forever change her life. The impact of such a haunting setting cannot be underestimated. It created an environment ripe for encounters with malevolent spirits and left an indelible mark on all those who crossed its threshold. The ghostly encounter begins. I will never forget that fateful night when the ghostly encounter began. It was a dark and stormy evening in the small town of Ravenwood. The wind howled outside, causing the windows to rattle ominously. As I sat alone in my living room, a sudden chill swept over the room, sending shivers down my spine. Suddenly, I saw a figure standing at the corner of my eye. I turned around quickly, but there was nothing there. The feeling of being watched grew stronger with each passing moment. Shadows danced on the walls, as if mocking me. A cold breeze blew through the room, extinguishing the candles and plunging me into darkness. Panic consumed me as I fumbled for a flashlight, desperately trying to illuminate my surroundings. That's when I heard it, a low whisper that seemed to echo from every direction. The words were indistinguishable, but their eerie tone sent a wave of terror coursing through me. I knew then that I was not alone in this house. Time seemed to stand still as each minute turned into an eternity. The encounter had begun, and there was no escaping its grip. Little did I know that this would only be the beginning of a series of horrifying experiences that would haunt me for years to come. Wong Song Suki's first encounter with the ghost. It was a moonless night in the small town of Willowbrook. The year was 1922, and I had just moved into a charming old house on the outskirts of town. Little did I know that this house held a dark secret. As I settled into my new home, strange occurrences started to happen. Objects would move on their own, and eerie whispers could be heard late at night. But it wasn't until that fateful evening when I had my first encounter with the ghost. I was lying in bed, trying to fall asleep, when I heard heavy footsteps coming from the hallway. My heart raced as I peeked out of the doorway to see a shadowy figure, shrouded in darkness, slowly approaching me. Fear consumed me as I watched the ghostly apparition glide towards me with transparent eyes fixed upon mine. The room grew icy cold, and the air filled with an unsettling energy. I couldn't tear my gaze away as this specter came closer and closer. My body trembled uncontrollably as it reached out its translucent hand towards me. The touch felt bone-chillingly cold, sending shivers down my spine. The ghostly figure stared into my soul with an intensity that left me paralyzed with fear. In that moment, I knew that this encounter would be just the beginning of a terrifying journey that would forever change my life. Details of the haunting experience. As I walked through the dimly lit hallway of my old Victorian home, I could feel a chill run down my spine. The walls seemed to whisper secrets, and the air was thick with an unsettling presence. It all began one fateful night when I heard the faint sound of footsteps echoing through the house. At first, I dismissed it as my imagination playing tricks on me. But as the days went by, the occurrences became more frequent and intensified. Objects would mysteriously move on their own. Doors would slam shut without any explanation, and strange shadows would flicker in the corners of my vision. The eerie silence of the house was shattered by chilling whispers that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. Sleep became a distant memory as the ghostly encounters escalated into full-blown torment. The spectral figure appeared before me, its hollow eyes piercing into my soul, leaving me paralyzed with fear. These haunting experiences were not mere figments of my imagination. They were real and terrifying encounters with a malevolent force beyond human comprehension. The terror continues. The terror that gripped my life didn't end with a single terrifying encounter. No, it continued to haunt me, tormenting my very existence. Each night, as the clock struck midnight, I could feel its cold presence lurking in the shadows, waiting to strike. The once comforting darkness became a suffocating shroud of fear, as every creak and whisper sent shivers down my spine. The ghostly apparition grew bolder with each passing day, revealing itself in more sinister ways. No longer merely a glimpse or a flicker of movement in the corner of my eye, it began to manifest right before me. Its spectral figure gliding silently through the halls, leaving behind an icy chill that froze the air. Sleep evaded me as nightmares consumed my nights. I would wake up drenched in sweat, unable to shake off the feeling of being watched. Every step I took was accompanied by a sense of dread, as if I were walking through an endless maze of horror. As the haunting intensified, so did its manifestations. Objects would move on their own accord. Doors slammed shut with an unseen force, and unearthly moans echoed throughout the house. It was a constant onslaught of terror that pushed me to the edges of sanity. Despite the mounting terror and desperation that engulfed me, finding help proved to be an impossible task. Friends and family dismissed my claims as mere exaggerations or figments of my imagination. Alone and trapped in this nightmare turned reality, I had nowhere to turn for solace or assistance. Each passing day brought surges of fear that threatened to consume me entirely. My life had become a horror show that played out relentlessly before my eyes. The once familiar walls now held secrets too sinister to comprehend. Little did I know that this relentless torment would eventually push me beyond fear and into action. It was the final straw, the breaking point that propelled me towards seeking answers and resolution, no matter the cost. Wang Song, Suki's ongoing experiences with the ghost. As the days turned into weeks, my encounters with the ghost became more frequent and unsettling. Every night, I would be terrified by the eerie footsteps echoing through my house, drawing closer to my bedroom door. The air grew colder, causing goosebumps to rise on my skin as an unseen presence made its presence known. The ghost seemed to become bolder with each passing night, no longer content with simply haunting me from a distance. It would whisper in my ear, its voice a chilling mix of anger and sadness that sent shivers down my spine. Objects would move inexplicably, crashing to the floor in the dead of night without any logical explanation. Sleep became impossible as I was plagued by nightmares of the ghost's horrifying face and its malevolent gaze. Its eyes pierced through the darkness, filled with an unquenchable hunger for fear and torment. No matter how much I tried to escape its grasp, the presence followed me wherever I went, a constant reminder of the terror that awaited me in every corner of my life. Increase in severity and frequency of the haunting. As the days turned into weeks, The haunting of our home only intensified. The once sporadic encounters with the ghost became more and more frequent, occurring at all hours of the day and night. It seemed as though there was no escape from its malevolent presence. Not only did the haunting become more prevalent, but it also grew in severity. The ghost's actions became increasingly aggressive and terrifying. Objects would fly across the room, seemingly propelled by an unseen force. Eerie whispers would echo through the hallways, sending chills down our spines. Doors would slam shut with a violent force, causing the entire house to shake. Sleep became a distant memory as we were plagued by nightmares and constant fear. Each night brought a new wave of terror, leaving us exhausted and on edge during the daylight hours. We felt trapped in our own home, prisoners to this relentless haunting. No longer able to bear this nightmare alone, we sought help to rid ourselves of this supernatural torment. But little did we know that our attempts to find assistance would prove to be as futile as our hopes for peace. Seeking help. After enduring weeks of terrifying experiences, I decided it was time to seek help. I couldn't bear the constant fear and uncertainty any longer. I reached out to friends, family, and even professionals in hopes of finding a solution to my haunting predicament. However, much to my dismay, their reactions were far from supportive. Friends and family dismissed my claims as mere fantasies or products of an overactive imagination. They urged me to forget about the ghostly encounters and move on with my life. Even the professionals I contacted were skeptical, unwilling to take my case seriously. Feeling defeated and isolated, I realized that if I wanted to put an end to this nightmare, I would have to take matters into my own hands. With a resolve fueled by fear and desperation, I embarked on a journey to find answers and rescue myself from this unrelenting terror. Little did I know that this decision would pave the way for an even more horrifying turn of events. The ghost seemed to resent my pursuit of help, its presence becoming increasingly malevolent, as if warning me against seeking assistance. Undeterred by these ominous signs, I pressed on in my quest for aid. But as the terror intensified with each passing day, a crucial decision lay just around the corner, one that would change everything forever. Wong Song, Suki's attempts to find assistance. After enduring weeks of terrifying encounters with the vengeful ghost, I knew I couldn't face this haunting alone. Desperate for help, I reached out to local paranormal experts and sought advice from religious leaders. My search for assistance became a relentless journey as I scoured the city, desperately seeking someone who could offer protection or guidance. However, at every turn, I was met with skepticism and disbelief. People dismissed my claims as mere hallucinations or attention-seeking behavior. My pleas fell on deaf ears, leaving me feeling isolated and helpless. It seemed that no one was willing to acknowledge the true terror that consumed my life. With each failed attempt, my fear grew stronger, and I feared that there was no escape from this malevolent presence haunting me. Little did I know that the worst was yet to come. The lack of support from others. When I first started experiencing the haunting, I was terrified and desperate for help. I reached out to friends, family, and even local authorities. But to my dismay, no one believed me. They brushed off my claims as mere flights of imagination or exaggerated stories meant to seek attention. It was disheartening to see the lack of support from those closest to me. I tried explaining in detail the strange occurrences, the eerie atmosphere, and the constant feeling of being watched. But everyone dismissed it as mere coincidence or figments of my imagination. It felt like I was trapped in a nightmare with no one willing to believe or understand the terror I was going through. Their lack of support made me question my own sanity. Was I truly losing my mind? Were these experiences just hallucinations brought on by stress? The doubts ate away at me, adding another layer of fear to an already terrifying situation. I realized that I had no choice but to face this ghostly encounter alone. Despite the lack of support from others, I knew deep down that something inexplicable was happening to me. And so, with a newfound determination, I decided to confront this malevolent presence head on and find a way to put an end to this nightmare once and for all. The final straw. The final straw. Just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, the ghostly encounters took a sinister turn. It was a cold, moonlit night in the small town of Blackwood, known for its haunted history. As I lay in bed, trying desperately to sleep, I could feel an icy presence looming over me. Suddenly, the room plunged into darkness, and a chilling wind swept through the air. Terrified, I reached for my phone to call for help, but it was dead. Panic set in as I realized that the ghost had cut off all means of communication. The room was filled with eerie whispers, and unexplained shadows danced across the walls. That night, I witnessed the full extent of the ghost's wrath. Objects were thrown violently across the room, and blood-curdling screams echoed through the house. It was as if there was no escape from this malevolent force that had taken over my home. In that moment, I knew I couldn't endure this torment any longer. The spirit had crossed a line, and it was time to take matters into my own hands. But little did I know, this would only be the beginning of my journey into the heart of darkness, the pinnacle of the Ning experience. As I reflect on the terrifying events that unfolded during my encounter with the ghost, I can't help but shudder at the pinnacle of the haunting experience. It was a fateful night on October 31st in the dimly lit house located on Elm Street. The atmosphere was thick with an eerie stillness, as if the air itself held its breath in anticipation. Suddenly, a bone-chilling presence engulfed the room. Shadows danced menacingly on the walls, and a cold breeze permeated through every inch of my being. I could sense an overwhelming sense of malevolence lingering in the air. From the corners of my eyes, glimpses of an apparition began to materialize. It took shape as a twisted figure with hollow eyes and gnarled hands extending towards me. Its malicious intent was palpable, sending a surge of pure terror coursing through my veins. In that moment, I knew I had to take action. The ghostly encounters had escalated to a point where my sanity and well-being were at stake. With trembling hands and a determined heart, I made a solemn vow to rid myself of this haunting once and for all. Wong Song, Suki's decision to take action. After enduring weeks of terror and countless sleepless nights, I knew I had to do something about the haunting. The ghostly encounters had escalated beyond anything I could have imagined, leaving me paralyzed with fear. No longer could I dismiss the creaking floors and flickering lights as mere coincidences. It was clear that an evil force had invaded my home, and it was out for blood. With trembling hands, I made the decision to seek help from a paranormal expert. Engulfed in desperation, I spent hours scouring the internet for any leads or contacts that could offer insight into my supernatural nightmare. Finally, I found a renowned investigator who claimed to have dealt with similar cases. I reached out hesitantly, unsure if anyone would believe my harrowing tale. But to my surprise, he expressed genuine interest and agreed to conduct an investigation at my home. Relief washed over me as a glimmer of hope ignited within my heart. Little did I know that seeking help would only deepen the darkness lurking within my home. Investigating the haunting, I couldn't bear the terror any longer. After enduring countless nights of torment, I finally decided it was time to seek help. I reached out to a team of experienced paranormal investigators, desperate for answers and a resolution to my haunting ordeal. The investigators arrived at my home, armed with an array of specialized equipment and a determination to unveil the truth hidden within the shadows. They conducted extensive research into the history of the property, uncovering unsettling records of past tragedies that had occurred there. As the investigation progressed, their findings sent chills down my spine. Electronic voice phenomena captured F-spat whispered haunting messages from beyond the grave. Temperature fluctuations and unexplained movements were recorded on thermal imaging cameras. The evidence was mounting, confirming that I was not alone in my torment. The investigators tirelessly documented each mysterious occurrence and meticulously analyzed every piece of data collected. Their expertise brought credibility to my story, validating my experiences and providing validation for the fear that consumed me. However, in their search for answers, they stumbled upon something even more sinister than they anticipated. The presence occupying my home was far more malevolent than they had encountered before. It seemed as though they had inadvertently unleashed a force that fed off our fear and despair. Despite their best efforts, the investigators were ultimately unable to rid my home of the relentless spirit that tormented me night after night. They advised me to leave the property immediately, warning that any further attempts at removing the entity could have catastrophic consequences. Terrified and exhausted, I heeded their warnings. My family and I abandoned our home, leaving behind all our possessions in an attempt to sever ties with the ghostly presence that had invaded our lives. Little did we know that leaving would not be enough to escape its clutches. The haunting continued to plague us even as we sought refuge elsewhere, forever changing our perception of what it means to feel safe in our own surroundings. Even now, years later, I cannot shake the feeling that we are forever marked by this haunting encounter. It serves as a constant reminder that the line between the living and the dead is often blurred, and that evil can exist in realms beyond our understanding. The involvement of paranormal investigators. When the haunting at my house reached its breaking point, I knew I needed to seek outside help. Desperate for answers and desperate for relief, I contacted a team of paranormal investigators. These brave individuals specialized in investigating and documenting supernatural occurrences. On a dark and stormy night, they arrived at my home, armed with an array of high-tech equipment designed to capture any signs of paranormal activity. With their cameras, audio recorders, and electromagnetic field detectors, they were ready to dive deep into the mysteries surrounding my haunting. As they set up their equipment throughout the house, the tension in the air grew palpable. We all knew that we were about to come face to face with something truly otherworldly. For hours on end, the investigators meticulously combed through every room, analyzing footage and audio recordings. They captured strange orbs of light that floated across the rooms and chilling events, electronic voice phenomena that seemed to whisper words of malevolence. Their findings were both electrifying and terrifying. They discovered evidence of an intense spiritual presence that seemed rooted in pain and anger. The spirit had made its home within these walls, feeding off our fear and distress. Though the precise origin or motive of this entity remained unknown, one thing was clear: it had chosen my house as its playground of terror. As the investigators shared their findings with me, a deep unease settled within me. How could I ever feel safe in my own home again? Their investigation had only scratched the surface of what lay beneath. Paranormal activity seemed to intensify even further, as if provoked by their presence. Little did we know that by seeking answers from these investigators, we had awakened something far more sinister than we could have ever imagined. Our lives were about to take an even darker turn as we delved deeper into this haunting nightmare. What they uncovered and their findings. As the paranormal investigators delved deeper into the haunting of Wong Song Suki, they uncovered chilling evidence that sent shivers down their spines. Utilizing state-of-the-art equipment, they recorded mysterious EVP electronic voice phenomena, capturing the ghost's eerie whispers in the dead of night. In their meticulous examination of the location, they discovered anomalous cold spots and unexplained fluctuations in electromagnetic fields. The investigators even witnessed objects moving on their own accord, defying all logical explanation. Consulting historical records, they unearthed a dark past filled with tragedy and despair. They learned that a gruesome murder had taken place in the very same house several decades prior, leaving behind a tormented spirit seeking vengeance. With their findings substantiating Wong Song-suk's claims, it was clear that there was an undeniable presence haunting her. The investigators shared these bone-chilling revelations with Wong Song-suk and her family, providing them with some validation for their nightmarish experiences. But little did they know that this confirmation would only further escalate the terror that awaited them. Life after the haunting. After the haunting, my life was forever changed. The terror and fear that had consumed me during those haunted days never truly left. I started to see shadows in every corner, constantly on edge, wondering if the ghosts would return. Sleep became elusive as nightmares plagued my nights, vivid dreams filled with terrifying visions. My family also felt the impact of the haunting. Their once joyful demeanor had been replaced by a constant state of anxiety and unease. The once lively atmosphere in our home was now filled with tension and fear. We did our best to move forward, seeking therapy and support from others who had experienced similar encounters. But the scars left behind by the haunting were deep and never truly healed. Even after all these years, the memory of that ghostly encounter still haunts me, leaving me forever changed. But amidst the darkness, there was a glimmer of hope. The experience taught me resilience and strength as I learned to face my fears head-on. While the haunting may have broken my spirit temporarily, it ultimately empowered me to conquer my own inner demons. Although life has moved on since then, a part of me will always remain connected to that terrifying chapter in my life. It serves as a reminder that sometimes even the most terrifying experiences can lead us on a path of self-discovery and growth. As for my family, we have solace in each other's presence. Together we navigate through the lingering effects of the haunting, offering each other support and understanding when moments of unease arise. While life may never be completely free from the shadow of that haunting, we refuse to let it define us. We embrace each day with courage and resilience, knowing that we have survived something truly horrific and emerged stronger on the other side. In conclusion, life after the haunting has been a journey of healing and growth. Though scarred by this terrifying experience, we have found ways to move forward while honoring the past. The haunting serves as a constant reminder of the power of the supernatural and the indomitable spirit of the human soul. Wong Song-suk's life after the haunting experience. After the haunting experience, my life took an unexpected turn. The terror that had consumed my days and haunted my nights was finally over. The once lively and vibrant home that I had known became a constant reminder of the horrors I had endured. Every creak of the floorboards, every flicker of light cast eerie shadows on the walls. Sleep became a distant memory as nightmares plagued my dreams. The once bustling city now seemed desolate and empty, its streets harboring hidden dangers. Despite my attempts to move on, fear lingered in every corner of my existence. Relationships were strained as loved ones struggled to comprehend the depths of my torment. Trust eluded me, for the ghostly presence still lingered in the shadows, threatening to return. But amidst the darkness, there was a glimmer of hope. Therapy sessions provided some solace as I learned coping mechanisms to navigate through the trauma. Slowly but surely, I began to rebuild my life brick by brick. The impact it had on my family was immense. They stood by me throughout it all, offering unwavering support and understanding. Together, we faced our demons head-on and vowed never to let fear dictate our lives again. Years have passed since that fateful encounter, and while the haunting remains a vivid memory etched into the depths of my soul, I have emerged stronger. I have become an advocate for those who have experienced paranormal phenomena, seeking closure and understanding for their own anguish. The haunting of Wongsong Suki may be over, but its legacy lives on in my heart and in the minds of those who hear my story. It serves as a chilling reminder that there are forces beyond our comprehension lurking in the darkness, forces that can shatter our sense of safety and leave lasting scars on our souls. As for whether or not you believe in ghosts and hauntings, that is a question only you can answer. But let me warn you, dear reader, once you delve into the realm of the supernatural, there may be no turning back. The impact it had on her and her family. The haunting of Wongsong Suki had a devastating impact on both her and her family. We were constantly living in fear, never knowing when the ghost would make its presence known again. The once cheerful atmosphere in our home became stifling, with a sense of unease hanging in the air. Our nights were filled with sleepless terror, the sound of footsteps echoing through the halls and whispers that seemed to come from nowhere. Wongsong Suki's children were plagued by nightmares, waking up in cold sweats and too frightened to sleep alone. It took a toll on all of us mentally and emotionally, leaving us drained and desperate for a resolution. We longed for our lives to return to normal, free from the constant terror that had consumed us. Conclusion. In conclusion, the haunting tale of Wongsong Suki is a chilling reminder of the true terror that can lurk in the shadows. Throughout this harrowing story, I have shared the background, the ghostly encounters, and the desperate attempts to seek help. The involvement of paranormal investigators shed light on the sinister presence that plagued Wongsong Suki's life. The impact of this haunting on Wongsong Suki and her family cannot be overstated. Their lives were forever changed by these unexplained events. While some may question the authenticity of this tale, the factual data and first-hand accounts provide compelling evidence of its validity. As the legacy of Wongsong Suki's haunting lives on, it serves as a cautionary tale to those who dare to dismiss the paranormal. The debate will continue, but for those who experienced it firsthand, There is no doubt that true terror cannot be easily explained or forgotten. The legacy of the Wong Song Suki haunting. The legacy of the Wong Song Suki haunting is one that continues to intrigue and terrify audiences to this day. The story of Wong Song Suki, a young woman who experienced a series of terrifying encounters with a vengeful ghost, has left a lasting impact on those who have heard it. The tale has been passed down through generations, becoming embedded in the folklore of the town where it took place. People are still cautious when speaking of the events that unfolded, as if the spirit may still linger in the shadows. The Wong Song Suki haunting serves as a chilling reminder of the unknown forces that can exist beyond our comprehension. While some skeptics dismiss the story as mere legend, others adamantly believe in its authenticity. Debates continue to spark among paranormal enthusiasts and skeptics alike, fueling discussions about the existence of ghosts and the supernatural. Regardless of one's beliefs, there is no denying the lasting impact that the Wong Song Suki haunting has had on those who have been captivated by its terrifying tale. Debate over its authenticity. The haunting tale of Wong Song Suki continues to spark intense debate over its authenticity. Some skeptics dismiss the story as mere fiction, attributing it to a vivid imagination or an attempt to gain attention. However, those who have delved deeper into the accounts argue that the level of detail and the emotional impact experienced by Wong Song Suki cannot be fabricated. Despite these compelling pieces of evidence, there are those who remain unconvinced, raising questions about possible hoaxes or psychological explanations for the haunting. The debate over its authenticity rages on, adding an extra layer of intrigue to an already chilling tale. Thank you for joining us for this spine-tingling story. We hope you found it both thrilling and thought-provoking. If you enjoyed this video, please consider participating in our channel by subscribing, liking, and sharing it with your friends. Your support goes a long way in helping us create more engaging content for you. Goodbye, and may you always tread carefully in the world of the unknown.